What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, let's talk about news for months in SaGa Universe. We just got the announcement of two new banners. They are related to SaGa Scarlet Grace, with the first one bringing yet another version of Urpina. We have two global axis styles as well, then Elysed and Mondo, two characters that appear on her storyline kinda very early in SaGa Scarlet Grace. Well, we already have all the information about these characters and I'll talk about that in a few. Then the second banner, that we still don't have the information, brings three different characters that are not protagonists: Chiago Lisboa, Kumi, and Tsubaki. Well, in the case of Kumi, it's the only style she has, the same for Chiago Lisboa, but Tsubaki does have one platinum style that will complement this one for at least one skill. Tsubaki is a very good support for Pierce, and also raid Pierce on Remembrance, while Chiago Lisboa has the potential of being a very strong damage dealer, but nothing too special. We'll see more about this when we get the information. There is a new event, this one, called Super Combat Training, and it brings a new SS sword weapon and a new SS staff weapon with double elements. That is water and wind, made for Elysed. But you'll also be able to farm S pieces for Mondo. This gives him a counter skill, and then SS pieces for Antonius. This is his second style. The first one is Platinum, this one is a Welfare, and they complement each other. This one deals more damage on turn 2 and has single target nukes. With one cheap AoE attack that can be used in the first style, you can just interchange the skills depending on the situations and when you want to attack. So don't forget to farm, it's one of the best Welfares in the game. Now, let's go to Reddit in a post by Hands43. Thank you so much for doing this amazing job, as always. He translated the video that has all the information about the characters, comparing them to JP. Urpina got the biggest buffs because she is the spotlight character. We got higher STR, decreased a little dexterity. It seems like they think that 70% is enough for most challenges, usually. But I have to say that sometimes I saw characters with 70% dexterity missing, but she got a very big buff in her agility status because she's a better farmer now, and got a big buff to intelligence and some will. Well, it all makes sense when you see the character. She is a farmer, debuffer, and maybe boss specialist depending on the situations. Well, first passive, she recovers on HP when attack lands. Then, when a weak attack lands, she has a 50% chance to activate this attack called Ritsu Crossword. It's a SS power roll attack that deals only slash damage, and when it lands, it also recovers 1 BP. So, we'll talk more about this. She needs to land a weak attack. She has control over many different elements, depending on the different styles she has access to. This will not trigger on counter, so forget about using Torrent and then countering again. So, when you are using an active skill on a fight, she has 50% chance to trigger the chase when she lands weak attacks. Let's think about Crossbreak, a sword skill that hits 2 times with very big damage and only 8 PP cost. Because it is actually 2 separate skills, she will have 50% chance on each hit to trigger the chase. But if it happens once, it will not happen the second time. You will only be able to get 1 chase. So if you have Crossbreak from her UDX style, this becomes very nice. 2 chances on 50% of getting a chase attack. When you are using a single hit attack, like a normal one, for example, she has 50%, so on average she actually attacks many times. Okay, the second one, attack increases by 20%, and then she grants herself a defense up of 10% increase in damage reduction 5 times in battle. So on turn 5 she has 5 stacks of minus 10%. That's big. And then high protect tension. That increases damage by another 20 for a total of 40. And she has 30% damage reduction at all times. So we have 2 different passives that reduces damage taken and 40% damage increase. Now for skills, the first one is a full AoE attack with only 2 BP cost that hits for slash and pierce. That's good because she has the chance to trigger her Ritsu attack cross sword. And then brings a chance to debuff agility by 15%. The intelligence should be good enough for most content unless it's a very hard challenge. The second skill is now single target and it has slash and pierce damage, grants one let down small to the target, decreasing damage by 15%, and also applies guard down small. That decreases the resistance of the enemy by 15%, lasts for 2 turns, does not stack with itself. We have to remember that attack down and defense down stacks. You can even see those in characters as passives, but guard down and morale down does not stack with themselves. So you have to wait another turn and then use it on the third turn. I don't think this is too useful anymore because we are getting characters with so many different effects on themselves. Like for example, the newest Barbara can give you a 25% shield and then another 25 guard up because it's medium. So you are decreasing damage by too much, but of course she does not do damage. But sometimes you're just bringing higher values with one character, allowing you to bring 2 damage dealers even sometimes. So it's good, but it's not something that you'll be seeing too much in the future. Then the third attack is now a fully AoE attack with slash damage and A power. It was buffed. For 9 BP, you still carry a chance to debuff the enemy agility and intelligence by 15% when the attack lands. So, if you are fighting against an enemy that uses spells, you are debuffing the 2 status that determines the accuracy of the enemy. It's a very good skill when it works. Now, the problem here is that when facing hard bosses, they have the 5 weaknesses. They will cleanse the buffs applied to them every 2 turns. Sometimes when you reach a certain they are sold, sometimes it's HP related. It's pretty hard to keep debuffing bosses, hence why we are now bringing support and defensive skills that decrease damage at all times, like Fire and Press, Barbara, or buffing our characters with Matriarch, Time, and many others. So I do believe that the best setup for this Urpina is to bring Cross Break if you have, and then keep using the attack for bigger chances to chase with Retsu Cross Sword. The damage will be good. But I have to say that if you have the second Global X style that applies defense down to the enemy, and you also have Cross Break, that version is very good already. She will apply 2 defense downs that will stack, and then you can just keep doing damage with the other characters. She doesn't have the chase, but by increasing the damage of the other characters, she kind of fits the overall damage of this version, or gets pretty close. And the second Global X style is a much better counter specialist, because she gets BP when she lands attacks. So it's not a big improvement, it's more of a side grade. This one is much more defensive, so it will survive better on members and on hard challenges, but for hard challenges we have better damage dealers like Leon, Schuzer, and Silver. Now, let's move on to Mondo. They buffed his endurance and will to reach very high status. He is much better than the defensive units from the robots banner that you can compare to. He starts the turn buffing himself with Taunt. That has medium effect and lasts for 4 turns. This is stacked, so that means that the enemy will try to attack him like it does with Mask when using Great Adventure. It's a pretty similar effect. On the end of a turn, he removes poison from all surviving allies. This was designed for a very specific fight, but it doesn't matter too much now. The second one, he recovers his own HP by around 170s and increases his own will by 15% when the attack lands. This is very nice because will is better than endurance buffs, since it also helps with status ailments and debuff chances, so he does not get inflicted with stuff. He also has Iron Wall Defense 6, decreasing damage by 40% at all times. It will be enough to decrease the damage to very low levels. The first skill is Glitter Shell, the same from the 4th version of Matriarch, that gives Guard Up Small, decreasing damage by 12%, and then the second skill has a chance to poison the enemy. The intelligence is 81%, it may even land. It's made for a future remembrance battle where you need to inflict poison. But in Spear Remembrance we can bring Matriarch and she buffs different status, usually enough to help you defeat the boss without using this special mechanic. The last skill is a 9 BP single target attack that deals pierce damage only. And it's not that strong, but it gives him defense boost that increases damage by 30% and it stacks with guard up and other stances of defense boost, and also applies damage block. For one turn he's not going to take damage. That is good because he taunts. That means that he would draw more enemy attacks, blocking them for one turn, and then after that just increasing his damage reduction even further. He self-heals for a little, so he will not easily die. Then he also gets a counter skill with Mew that counters with double S power, but he does not get BP by attacking. It's a skill that you can use on turn 1 and then takes too much to build up again, but can be used on turns where you don't have to use skill number 3. But just remember that it's better to use it always when available, since defense boost stacks and you can apply a damage block again. So, pretty defensive unit, but he competes a lot with Global X Nadart that applies 10% defense up to the party, but Nadart does not taunt. Not many characters taunt and are very good defensive tanks, but still there is Crow, there is also Mask. Mask is the best one because he heals the party on overdrive. The last character is Elysed, and they buffed her endurance and will, and a little of her agility, so she's better on bossing and also on farming. The first passive is a little old. When she recovers someone, she also recovers herself by medium effect, should be more than 1000, and buffs all of her status by 15%. But the only heal spell she has access to is Water of Life Plus, a single target spell that usually recovers from 0 to max, but it's not that special. The second passive just gives her 30% in damage increase when attacking weak targets and resists 40% damage when she is resisting. That means that she needs to have at least 35 points of resistance in a dedicated element to appear resist on screen, and then it will reduce the damage. And then the last one is fired up 7. So she has 70% increasing damage when attacking weak targets. That's when she's gonna be used for farming. Well, but then her skills are a little strange. She has a very strong column attack with slash and lightning damage that now has a medium chance to paralyze. She's a paralyze specialist since her first UDX style. And then after that she has a very weak AoE attack that's also slash in lightning, but has only E power and has a chance to apply paralyze as well. So very strong paralyze inflictor, but we barely need to paralyze enemies. We needed to paralyze the real queen, but she's a very old remembrance battle and it doesn't really help much. But lightning damage is not so easy to find as a column, although slash is. So she has a big attack and then weak ones. I don't think this is too worth. Now, I don't think this banner is too good. I will only be giving it a bronze award. Elysed is a character that doesn't have a clean design. It works for one turn farming and then doesn't. Then we have Mondo, a character that's actually pretty good because of the taunt mechanic and being able to block damage and apply a lot of defensive stuff. But he competes with Global X Nadart if you already have, although not on the same levels. And for Spear Remembrance, it's pretty easy to win because of Matriarch, so he may not be the piece of support that you need. And Urpina is very defensive, but also not a real nuker on the same levels as the characters like Leon, like Silver and Chooser. And she relies on you having Crossbreak, that if you already have this second Global X style, it's already on max potential and you can already do the best AoE or single target counter setups with Urpina. So it's not an improvement, it's actually a side grade. And I don't believe this is a very good banner for newcomers as well. So I suggest a skip, but I'll be explaining more about all these characters in my review. When we get the information about the second banner, I'll be making a second video. What you think about this all? Please say here on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you on the next video or next live stream. Bye.